Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and Merry Christmas Eve here on this episode 8 of Sutton Reactions. I am your host, Sutton Def, and we're here to have some fun today. This is the ninth episode of the show here. Again, Christmas Eve episode. Drop down below in the comments section what your favorite Christmas Eve tradition is, right? Is it making the cookies to put under the tree, whether you got kids or whether that you used to grow up with that tradition? Is it opening one gift before Christmas, so opening one gift on Christmas Eve night? Is it watching your favorite Christmas movie, and if so, what is that movie? Let me know your favorite Christmas Eve traditions. I've always thought that was fun. Um, but yeah, again, guys, welcome back, and welcome into another episode of Sutton Reactions, where me, your host Sutton Def, reacts to any and everything that comes to the forefront of my attention, and also things that you guys can send me through my social media at Sutton Def on Twitter or Instagram. We are live here 4 days out of the week. Of course, this is a simulcasting live on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. So shout out to the Rain Gang. Salute to all you guys over there. And then it's also simulcasting on the actual Sutton Reactions channel. So if you do want to subscribe to Sutton Reactions, which this show will be exclusively featured on pretty soon here, I'm thinking as soon as 2026. Make sure you go sub to that channel so that way you make sure you don't miss any of our episodes of SR. Okay, so I wanted to get into a couple of things, kind of a lighthearted, fun episode, but I do want to start with a slightly serious topic. Right? This is something that just came to my attention as of this morning. I think it happened the night before last, but it's about Draymond Green, Warriors forward for the last about decade, right? He's a staple of the Golden State Warriors. He got into it with his head coach, Steve Kerr, the other night. And when I say got into it, I mean like to the point where Draymond Green was cussing him out. Draymond Green had to leave the game. Steve Kerr told him to go the fuck home. It was bad and it was ugly. So let's take a look at a breakdown of what actually happened that night.
During a timeout, Draymond Green got into a heated argument with Steve Kerr. There was a lot going on, so let's break it down. With a few minutes into the second half, Draymond was frustrated with the officiating. He thought the Warriors weren't getting any calls and turnovers started to pile up. Curry threw the ball out of bounds after Draymond didn't roll, and then Draymond passed it to the opposing team. A clear path foul was called and Draymond was pissed. He went directly to the officials and let them know.
Start speeding up.
Kerr tried.
My thing is, why are you crying, bro? You are a seasoned veteran on the back half of your career, quite clearly, right? You can't score anymore. Like, I get it. You need them to call every foul that they can in order for you to just get some buckets. But come on, man. This crying shit, you're supposed to be the leader of the team. I don't like that.
Kerr tried to get Draymond to move on, but he didn't listen. He shook his head in disappointment as the Magic scored another bucket in the paint. Kerr called a timeout and Draymond kept talking to the referees. Pat Spencer tried to hold him back, but Draymond wasn't having it. During the timeout, Kerr called him out for his lack of effort. Draymond was already amped up, so he said, Kerr knew where this was heading, so he stood up for himself. He said, "Hey Draymond, if you don't want me to talk to you, then go home." Moses tried to cool Draymond off, saying, "Come on, man. Come on, Dre." He kept repeating the same thing as Kerr tried to talk to him one last time. He said, "How am I supposed to coach you, Dre? I told you." Draymond was trying to control himself, but once Kerr told him he wouldn't play again, he had enough. Draymond stood up and walked away from the huddle as Kerr said, "Okay, alright, alright." Draymond went directly to the locker room and Kerr quickly took a sip of his water after all that yelling. The
My bad, guys. I moved my mic for a second. But I think that Draymond Green here, he is acting really immature for a multi-time champion. Somebody who is wildly famous and rich, you know what I mean, has all the opportunities afforded to him. I think he still has his podcast going. Things are going well for Draymond Green, man, in life. And he's just on the back half of his career. And I think that that's where the frustration is kind of setting in for him. I mean, I guess he's not as impactful on the basketball court as he used to be, as he once was. And we're going to talk about that in a second too, but let's finish up this video.
The Warriors went on a crazy run after this as Curry led the way with 26 points. As the fourth quarter began, Draymond came back to the bench in street clothes. The Warriors came out with the win and Kerr explained the situation.
Yeah, we got into it obviously, and I took the time out just because I thought we lost our focus there a little bit, and he made his decision to go back to the locker room to cool off, and that's all I'm going to say about it.
Would you have gone back to
No,
them?
no, he wasn't going back in.
That's how bad things got, and Draymond also gave his input.
Temper spilled over, and I just thought it was best that I got it. I don't think there was a situation where it was going to get better.
What caused the argument?
Basketball. People lose their emotions sometimes. It happens. It is what it is. You're with people for a long time. There's a level of comfort, and shit happens. We move forward.
In the end, the Warriors are still in the playoff race, and there has been no
Okay, so no disciplinary action for Draymond Green so far. But for me, I really hate this whole, oh, my beef is with the refs, so I'm going to go to the sideline and curse out my coach who's just trying to get my mind back on track to just play the game, right? To get my head back in the game. I'm going to curse out my coach, and then I'm going to take my ball and go home. That sort of attitude. And then, by the way, after you leave, the Warriors get better. They get stronger, and they actually end up winning the game by a huge margin, too. Like, I don't know, like, if there was any sort of wake-up call for Draymond Green, it was that game. Because if you're the Warriors, I mean, I'm getting ready to trade him. I'm getting ready to get him the hell out of town, you know? And I want to read this part of an article from a beat writer from for the Golden State Warriors. They talked about how the Warriors have gotten back to 500. They've gotten some momentum, but that momentum could be snapped by the Draymond Green and Steve Kerr incident, particularly when it's all anyone wants to talk about and ultimately takes away from what was one of the more impressive wins of their season, because the Magic have been really good this year. That's what they were playing, right? Not only has Green caused a distraction, but the Warriors have arguably been better without him on the floor. After he returned from an injury, the four-time All-Star has been turning the ball over more, which just cannot happen when he's already limited because of a lack of scoring. So again, number one, you can't score. Number two, you're turning the ball over, right? And then you're distracting your teammates. And you're taking away from their focus, their concentration. They can't lock in because you're on the sidelines, literally out of sorts. And you got teammates trying to reel you in like, come on, bro. You got younger teammates trying to get you to grow up and be more mature. I mean, I've never thought that Draymond Green was a, phenomenal basketball player. I just thought that he had savvy, you know what I mean? Great defensively in his prime. And then, he had some stints where he was able to score a little bit. Had some stints where he was able to shoot a little bit, but he never really panned out to being that player who just has like any sort of bag work. You know what I mean? He was never that guy. And of course, he never really had to be that guy because for the majority of his career, he had Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson. You know what I mean? The likes of Andre Iguodala for a while. And some other guys as well. But again, this behavior from Draymond, I cannot. And World Class says in the chat, he's a specialist at best. I agree. He's a specialist at best. But now more than ever, I think it's time for the Warriors to cut ties with him. I think it's time to just move on. Much like the whole Ravens and John Harbaugh situation, even though that's a little bit different, right? Because we're talking about a player and a coach, but we're just talking about two guys who have been with an organization for a very long time. And like Draymond said at the end of this video, like, it's a comfort thing. I got comfortable, like, again, I know it might be a little bit apples to oranges, but it's kind of the same in my eyes. I think there's just time for a new change of scenery for both parties, and it's okay. I don't know exactly how much Draymond has left in the tank before he retires. I think he should hang it up maybe in the next few seasons or so, but I think that his time with Golden State, after everything that this franchise has given you, and you go out there and make an ass of yourself. You make an ass of yourself like that. It just, it's embarrassing. And honestly, if I was the GM of the Warriors, I would say, yeah, it's time. It's time. It's time. Says, has Draymond ever been an all-star? I think so. I think he's been an all-star before. Let me see. Draymond Green. All-star appearances. Yeah. He's been an all-star 4 times. 2016, 17, 18, and 2022. Known for, of course, his defense, playmaking, and then just letting the game run through Steph Curry. That's really all he's had to do. He's one of those superstars who, like, benefits so greatly off of having, well, he's not a superstar. He's one of those stars who benefits greatly off of having a superstar. Like, all of the defense flows towards Stephen Curry. You know what I mean? So, like, Draymond Green really just has to do his part and make sure the offense flows through Steph and make sure that he can lock up one of the team's best players, one of the team's best big men on the other side of the floor. That's his only responsibility, and he does it very well. He's done it very well throughout his career. But again, to act like this after everything that the organization has given you, the franchise has given you, it's embarrassing. Chris M in the house, one of our members, says, what happened? So basically he was upset with the referees in the game the other night, and he was cursing out the refs because the refs weren't calling fouls for him. And he took that frustration to the sideline where his head coach, Steve Kerr, was trying to reel him in, calm him down, and said that, hey, look, you need to, like, basically get past this. You know what I mean? Lock the fuck back in. And Draymond Green cussed him out and said, F you. Basically, like, I'm out of here. Steve Kerr was like, you can go home if you want to. Draymond Green said, all right, bet. And he left. He went to the locker room. He ended up coming back out in street clothes and sat on the bench. And the Warriors ended up winning by like 30. But, that's basically what happened. And it's just time for him to go. It's just time for him to go. He's definitely a system player, world class says. And I think somebody else in the chat, who is this, Makai, says the question is, what team would trade for him? He's making $25 million this season, and he has a player option for next season for $27 million. That's true. I would think that just a team who needs some defense, a team who needs a little bit of leadership, a team who needs a little bit more edge, those 3 things, if you're looking for those 3 things, and I'm sure there's a lot of teams out there who are in the market for such things that might supplement some of their younger pieces and things like that. The only issue is, how Draymond Green does with younger players. You guys remember the Jordan Poole incident. And that's the thing about Draymond Green overall. This is not his first time offense. This is nowhere near a first time offense for Draymond Green. Draymond Green has been infamous for stirring up controversy on the court. Whether it's cursing out his coach, whether it's hitting LeBron in the nuts multiple times in the finals, whether it's fighting with, who was it? Who did he fight with? Rudy Gobert that one time or a couple times? Whether it's punching his own teammate Jordan Poole in the face. This is not his first time. So even if he were to go to another team, and again, Makai, I don't know exactly which team that would be, but even if Draymond goes to another team, I just don't see him meshing well personality-wise with a team that he's unfamiliar with, because he's saying that he feels comfortable with the Warriors doing the things that he's doing. What 12 years into his career, or however many years he's been playing. I can only imagine if he goes somewhere else where he doesn't know the guys as well, right? He doesn't know the lay of the land, who to play with, who not to play with, things like that. It could get real ugly anywhere else. So might be time for him to hang it up soon. Not gonna lie to you. And I definitely think if the Warriors want to continue to get better, then they need to move on from him, for sure. No way at this big age for Draymond Green, he should be acting like this on the court. On a franchise that has given him what, 3 rings? 3 rings. He's had the opportunity to play with the best shooter ever. I don't know. Show some grace, some class. But Draymond's never really been that guy. All right. Let's get into the next video of the day. Let's see. Oh, he's got 4 rings. 4 rings. Yeah, even worse. So you guys can see the thumbnail. You guys can see the title of the video. I came across this TikTok the other day, and it was like one of those kind of like IRL, in real life, like pranking real people in real life things. And some guy rolled up to a fast food window and offered the guy in the window who was working the fast food job $100,000 to quit his job on the spot. Let's go ahead and take a look at that.
You quit your job right now for $100,000 cash. People here today, I don't leave them like suffering.
The way you handle the situation and the empathy you have for the team members, just the way you reacted to it is just something that we are grateful to have you as part of our team. Thank you. The Pollo Loco. Oh no. Give you a check for $20,000.
All right, so you see what happened here, and I'll run it back again. But this guy, again, working fast food at Pollo Loco, had a guy pull up in his drive-thru window, and the guy says, hey, if you quit your job right now, I'll give you this whole stack of cash, which amounted to $100,000. And my question to you, everybody watching right now, whether you're watching live or after the fact, comment down below. If you were working this job, this fast food job, where let's say, you might be making what, maybe $30,000-$40,000 a year. I would assume, working fast food. I haven't worked fast food in a while, but I think that's probably how much they make. Would you quit your job on the spot if somebody offered you $100,000? Yes or no? I want to know. Running back here. $100,000 to quit your job. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat here before I give my take on this one. Chris M says, "Where's the other 80K?" I might need more too. Basically traded 80 bands for some Sour Patch Kids. No, but look though. 20 bands is still 20 bands. Don't get me wrong. Like, that's nothing to scoff at, right? Taxes paid on the 20? I would hope so. Well, I would hope not. I would hope he wouldn't have to come out of pocket for that. That would suck. Hopefully Pollo Loco would have taken care of that in some capacity. But 20 bands is still 20 bands. To somebody who works in fast food, let's say he works full-time, let's say he makes $40K a year working at Pollo Loco. That's half of his salary right there in one sitting. But I would have taken the 100K, and I would have left right then and there. And, he's saying that the dude sent the video. He was like, I can't leave right now. There's only like 3 of us in here today. I'd be like, okay, no. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this 100K from this dude, right? And then I'm going to break off the other 2 employees. I'm be like, all right, I'm going to give you $1,000 and I'm going to give you $1,000. $2,000 right there. So I still got $98,000 left for myself. And that way I can leave the restaurant right then and there with a clear conscience that I just gave both of them $1,000 to work for the day. To work real hard, but for $1,000. That's what I would have did. And I would have left. That's what I would have did. Tila in the house. What's going on, Tila? Moderator in here. Ashley in here. What's going on, Ashley? Good morning. Good morning. Merry Christmas Eve. Moggs, what's going on? Taurus, what up? Got my crew in here. Yeah, we in here. So, again, look, and let's watch it one more time. Let's watch it one more time. And one more thing. Never in... I don't know. I question whether or not this video and this whole situation is real, because how did the restaurant owners or whoever that lady was, right, who's handing him this check for $20,000, how would she know about this whole situation? Did like it just blow up on TikTok and she was like, oh, I gotta find the guy who did that and we gotta offer him $20,000, maybe as a PR move for us? Because this sort of thing doesn't really happen in real life. I promise you. I promise you. Oh, you guys said it wasn't playing? Let me see if I can do it one more time. Here we go. Hopefully it's playing now. Still not playing. That's weird. That's really weird. But me the time, which is a lot more valuable than money, time that I don't have to spend at Pollo Loco, that I can build an empire with that $100,000 while also still preserving my lifestyle that I currently live off of this Pollo Loco paycheck. That was my point. That was my point. Let's see what y'all are saying in here. Illegal activities at 14 is crazy. What are we talking about? $100K, that job will be there. That money won't. Yeah, definitely. Thea Pennell says, what's up, Sutton? What's going on, Thea Pennell? Merry Christmas Eve to you. Happy holidays. But yeah, no way. And again, in real life situations, they are not, whatever fast food company who sees that sort of viral video, they're not giving that employee $20,000. They're going to give them a kick in the ass, right? And maybe throw a pizza party for that location, you know, and maybe the district manager might show up or something like that. At most, that's what's going to happen. Can you guys hear me, though? You guys hear me okay? Or am I like frozen or something? Hopefully I'm not frozen before we get to the next video. It says 20 racks is not a lot. It's not a lot. 20 racks is definitely, it's still 20 racks. Don't get me wrong. But compared to that 100K, it's nothing. It's nothing. It is to fast food workers, Moggs. Shoot, 20,000 is a lot to me. I don't even work fast food. I'll take 20,000. Shoot. El Pollo Loco, not even good. Stay for 20K. We can hear. Okay, cool. You're not frozen, but your video part is because it's not playing. Oh, yeah. I paused the video, guys. I paused the video. We're going to get into the next video. Hopefully, you guys can hear this next video. It's actually the next one, a little bit more lighthearted, a little bit more funny. Brandon, what's up? What's going on? Again, if you're just joining, Or if you're part of the hashtag replay gang, I want you to throw down below in the comment section what your favorite Christmas Eve tradition is. Not Christmas Day, but Christmas Eve tradition is. I know a lot of us growing up had some different ones. I want to hear about them. I want to hear about those. All right. I'll take the 20K. It's 20K more than what I had. Absolutely. For sure. All right. Let's see. What else we got here? So I'm definitely taking that money each and every time. This next one, it was I saw this video this morning and I just couldn't stop laughing at it, right? Now, when it comes to, and I guess we can start a conversation about this. When it comes to punishing your kids, how do you guys do it? Because I don't have kids, so I can't really speak on it. I've been a kid before. But like, are you more of like the physical punishment? Are you more of like the psychological punishment? Are you more of like the some parents are emotionally punishing, right? But this video here shows a dad punishing his young son. Boy's maybe like 6 years old, right? For being disrespectful. And I thought he did it in a really cool way. Let's take a listen.
Will not down. Be disrespectful to anyone. I will not be disrespectful to anyone.
That video is absolutely hilarious, bro. It's like you can tell this dude was like, you know, played like offensive lineman or something like that. You can tell he played offensive lineman. I want to play it again.
Will not down. Be disrespectful to anyone. I will not be disrespectful to anyone.
Oh my gosh, that is absolutely hilarious. But 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 punishment. W punishment, W parent. I'm not gonna lie. This is like the way if I had a son, I would definitely punish him like this. You know, because this is physical punishment. This is what this is. This is physical punishment. But you're not actually hitting your kid, right? Now, when I was growing up, I got my ass whooped, right? For a lot of different things. A lot of different things. Whether that be, you know, being disrespectful, acting up in school, lying about something, got my ass whooped physically. Fighting with my siblings, ass whoopings. But I understand that it's a different time from when I grew up. Much different time. And I'm of the belief now, again, like I said, I don't have kids, at least not yet, that when I do have kids, they're going to get popped, just like I got popped. But I understand that's also very, very highly frowned upon these days. Highly frowned upon. So this as an alternative is amazing for me. Like it's kind of like it's a physical punishment. You guys ever did like wall sits like for punishments? It kind of reminds me of that because I used to have to do that too. Let me find out Sutton was a handful. You know, I had to grow out of it, but I wasn't too bad, but definitely made some bonehead mistakes in my younger days. That's for sure. But this is hilarious, man. It's like this kind of like militant, you know what I mean? Like hard, tough love, physical, kind of psychological punishment as well on top of the physical, because he's like yelling at him relentlessly, and the kid is just like screaming in agony and pain. And he's not even really doing the full push up like the workout here, which is funny, but it's just the repeating it for me. Well, not, not. And the kid is just like screaming every step of the way. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. Let me see here. Chat's moving. JD says I had to stand up on one foot. That's tough. For how long? For how long, JD? How long they make you do it for? Can you guys do a pistol squat? It's when you stand on one foot and you squat and you're on one foot the whole way down, the whole way up. Can you guys do that? It's pretty tough. It's tougher than you might think. Tougher than you might think. JD might be able to do it. JD might be able to do it. Chris says wall sits with books over our heads. My mom and dad were military. Yeah. Books on the heads, books on the lap. You know why you're doing the wall sit? World classes, I got effed up. No beatings or spankings. We got assaulted. Straight ass whoopings, huh? Straight ass whoopings. Do you feel like, do y'all feel like physical punishment works better than any other brand of punishment? I know it depends on the kid, right? But in terms of like, well, here's the thing. Do you think that your children should have a healthy fear of you? To everybody out there who's got kids, and even if you don't have kids, I want to know your perspective too on this. Do you think your kids should have a healthy fear of you? Notice I didn't say just straight up fear, like terrified, but like a healthy fear out of like, I guess, sort of like a respect. Do you think your kids should have a healthy fear of you, of their parents? Tor said he went to juvie in first grade. What was you doing in first grade to go to juvie? You was like 6 years old. You was like the same age as this boy in this video. Now, I need to know that. Tila says, now what I don't like is when parents be cussing their kids out. Yeah, I mean, because I think that does a different type of damage, like emotionally, right? When you verbally like berate your child, right? Because I think the thing behind like physical punishment, like when you're giving a child a spanking, you know, a lot of times you can just you can tell them afterwards like you love them, and that may go in one ear and out the other in the moment because it's like you just beat my ass, like you don't love me clearly, right? But sometimes words do speak louder than actions. Sometimes they do. Because sometimes the actions that you do have a meaning and a reasoning behind them that words can't necessarily accomplish. You know, that words can't necessarily communicate. And this is talking about the children, right? I don't know. That's just me. Ashley says I didn't get punished. Ashley grew up, because I remember you said, Ashley, you were like, you know, didn't go out in college. You're a bookworm and stuff like that. Ashley was the dream child. She was the dream child. Let me see. Tor says yes, children should have a healthy fear of their parents. World Class says no, it's horrible. All it made me do was be better at not getting caught. That's another thing too. Some kids will sneak around. But that's why it needs to be a balance. Like punishment needs to be not only punishment, but also like rehabilitation in a way. You know what I mean? Like you shouldn't just punish just to punish the child. I think you should also, again, reason with them, let them know why what they did was wrong, why what they did warranted a punishment. I think that's okay. And again, it doesn't always have to be physical, but you guys get the point. Let me see what else y'all are saying in here. The world class says fear as respect is disguised as delayed betrayal. Fear as respect is just guised as delayed betrayal. I don't think always that's the case. It's a case by case scenario. Like I said, I got my ass whooped when I was a kid growing up, and I did have a healthy fear of my parents. Well, specifically my dad. You know, mom never gave me an ass whooping, but I did have a healthy fear of my parents, and you know, fear of being punished, fear of not feeling love, even if it be for a temporary 2-minute ass whooping or whatever, however long they used to last. But I grew up to grow out of the fear, right? Because my parents, of course, not whooping me today. And it just grew into a respect thing, you know? Now, what I will say is that I do think that physical punishment can lead to a little bit of a reservation from the child as they grow up, like in terms of like they don't feel like they can come to you about any and everything, which is why, again, this balance is so important, I feel like. Because if you know, physically punish your child over and over and over again, eventually it's going to get to the point where, like, world class is saying, like, I'm just going to find a way around you so I don't have to, like, you know, get punished for it. And I think that leads to, in adulthood, not really young adulthood into actual adulthood, not really telling them everything that might be going on in your life, just out of that, maybe that childhood trauma or fear that, like, I could be ruthlessly punished for this, for if I say something. So, but that's why there's that balance. That's why that balance needs to exist. So, like, after physical punishment for a child, you got to have the conversation. The conversation is just as important, I believe, at least, as the physical punishment part. That's what I believe. So it's all about balance, world class. All about balance there. Hitting a child doesn't teach them to think, it teaches the opposite. Guys, what does TWC mean? Am I missing something? Oh, are we talking about world class? Okay, world class. I just say world class. You guys say TWC. Okay, I get it now. Tourist responding to world class says, I don't know, LOL. Anytime I was about to get into some shit, I'd remember my mom saying, don't call me if you go to jail. That was enough to be smart. Yeah. There was another video that I had on Twitter. Let me see. Let me see if I can grab it for you guys. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. You guys seen that video of the cops that caught the 3 young boys, 8-year-old, 11-year-old, 12-year-old, trying to steal a car in Ohio? You guys seen that video? I kind of want to pull it up for you guys. Give me a second. Give me a second. I'm gonna pull that up for you guys. Let's do it. Let's do it. I know you didn't say I had a short bus moment, Tila. All right, here we go. Here we go. So here is a video. Let's go ahead and take this off. Here is a video of 3 Ohio kids getting detained because, and again, I guess we're just talking about bad kids here. This is where, kids need to be beat. You know what I'm saying? You need a little bit of physical punishment for this one. I'm not going to lie to you. Just a simple conversation, I don't think would suffice for this. Because these kids tried to steal a car. Let's take a look.
On the ground! On the ground! On the ground right now!
I'm sorry.
I have 2 in a backyard right now.
His name is Clarkton Del Paz. Screaming,
On the stomach now! On your stomach now!
please.
Do not look at me! Where's the 3rd one?
He over there.
Stand by. Got 2 pruned out there.
I love that they immediately like snitched out their mans. Because it was 3 of them. Cop caught 2 of them like immediately. And then they immediately snitched out their mans, who I guess had gotten away. Isn't that crazy? That is hilarious. Let's keep going.
Stand by. Got 2 pruned out there complying. I'm getting you an address. Stand by. Do not look at me. Get on the ground. Do not look at me.
Kids was traumatized.
Do not look at me. Stay on that ground. You're in there? Get over here now. Get over here now. Go. Just get on the ground. Stand by. I got all 3 now. Stand by.
Please don't hurt us. You come on, Mom.
We'll call parents in a second. You guys are doing good. Thank you for complying. Once I get all the units here.
And see, again, these kids need their ass whooped. They need their ass whooped.
The units here, we'll detain everybody and we'll figure everything out.
Going to jail?
We're not going to jail right now. You're going to be detained, okay?
And if a cop ever tells you we're not going to jail right now, if he puts that stipulation, that right now stipulation, you going to jail, big dog.
Just keep on complying.
Hey, stop.
I see Taurus in the chat says what they do. They stole a car. They stole a car and went on a little chase with the cops, right? 8 years old, 11 years old, and 12 years old. Chris says they could have put the gun away when they saw that they were kids. Also, fairs, maybe bringing out the stun gun or the taser, whatever, that would have been enough, more than enough to scare these kids, because obviously they weren't on anything malicious once they, realized they got caught. They were fully submissive, fully compliant. And like Tila says, now they crying like little babies. Let's keep listening.
You should have thought about that before you got in that car.
Yeah.
Mommy, sir, please.
Okay, well, stop crying. You see anybody else crying?
Stay off your phone for a minute.
Now you just want your
Stay
mama.
off your phone.
Stay right there. No. You can't call anybody. You can't answer anybody.
I got it all in there.
Okay. Do you have any gun? Does anybody have any guns on you?
I don't tell guns.
Do you have any guns on you? What's your name?
I don't tote guns. I don't know. I just I feel like if a cop asks you, do you have guns on you? And your first response is, and I know these are kids, your first response is, I don't tote guns. Instead of saying, no, I don't own any, I don't own a gun. I don't own a weapon. I don't have any weapons on me. I don't tote guns sounds like you tote guns. I'm not gonna lie.
What's your name? Take that off.
I got shot in my head already. I don't tell guns.
You got a gun with you?
Hold on. I know this little ninja did not just say, I got shot in my head already, and that's why I don't tote guns. I know this little ninja did not just say that. Like, okay.
We don't tell guns.
You don't tow guns, you just hold on, don't reach for anything. Hey,
I'm just.
hold on, relax.
This is my first time in the car.
Well, I could tell by the way that you drove. You suck at driving.
Humbling.
Up against the fence.
Humbling. He said, Now, this is going to be a canon moment in these boys' lives. A canon event. They will never forget this. This interaction with the police officers will be literally burned into their brain cells for the rest of their lives.
Is anybody else crying?
Oh, I don't know.
It was real funny, you know?
Man got pretzels in his pockets. Okay. Okay. So we get the gist of the video, right? Now, I guess like my question to you guys is like, what is wrong with these kids, man? What is wrong with with this new generation of kids who are just like throwing caution to the wind, doing everything for clout? You know what I'm saying? Like, how did our kids get here, and what do we need to do to change it? I think World Class was in the comments, giving some suggestions here, saying that what do you say? What do you say? What do you say? He said I could fix those little boys in 2 months without interference. In 2 months, the adult body. Let me see. The adult body's children that is responsible for them be stealing, so they're trying to one up like boys are designed to do. The adult body's children. So I guess you're saying the people that they see, that they look up to, are stealing. They watch the crime be committed against them, so they think it's normal. So again, I say, like, what do you do? What do you do? I don't know. I talked about this yesterday. I was like, do there need to be like more like after school activities? Like, what happened to that? What happened to boys being interested in sports? But this is why it kind of goes back to our streets argument that we had the other day here on this very show. If you didn't check that episode out, make sure you check it out. I think that was yesterday or the day before yesterday. I can't remember. It was yesterday, actually. I think. Yeah, yesterday. But yeah, it's like when you grew up in an environment like that where you see those type of crimes happening on a daily basis or a weekly basis, whatever, it does kind of normalize it in a child's mind who's still being like kind of like, formed and fermented. And it's sad to see them try to pull off things like this and think that it's cool, or think that it's normal, and think that, this is like what life is about, because it's not. And somebody, maybe like World Class in the chat, get in these boys' lives and give them mentorship. That's really what boys need. Mentorship. I think that is the key to keeping our boys out of trouble, is making sure that they can have somebody that they can look up to, that again, that is not a ball player, that is not a rapper, somebody who has an attainable lifestyle with a good head on their shoulders, family, good morals, somebody like that they can look up to. Somebody like that they can think is actually cool and want to model themselves after. Because like World Class was saying, it's a whole lot of bad examples that these kids are seeing, and that's what leads to this behavior. Does it excuse it? No. Doesn't excuse the behavior, but it definitely makes sense of why some of it's happening. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat here. You have to change their environment for at least 90 days and show them 100 examples of clear and concise results from their behavior. Yeah, it's definitely excuse me. It's definitely a reprogramming that would need to happen. Definitely a reprogramming that would need to take place. Chris M says, I only ever stole my grandma's car to drive around at night, and she knew it. I always returned it back into the driveway because she could not reverse. Chris was a goody two shoes too, growing up, just like Ashley. Goody two shoes. If you're watching on PRP, the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel, don't forget to join the Rain Gang. Like the video, subscribe to the channel as well. We'd appreciate that. Torres says, my dad would point to homeless people and say, you better not end up like that, and keep driving. Yeah, I mean, and that's another thing about children. They are literal sponges, and in the same way that good examples can work, bad examples can also work. And I think there also, again, needs to be that balance. There needs to be that balance. You can learn from both. You can become a better person from both. You can become a contributing adult figure to society by seeing bad examples of people and seeing good examples of people. And the mix of those two should land you somewhere to where you know what life is supposed to look like. And you also know, if you don't do what you're supposed to do, what life could look like. You know, I think God wants us to prosper. But we do have choices. We do have choices. So, and Chris says, sure was a goody two shoes. But yeah, wanted to share that with you guys. Tila M says, too much GTA. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't think it's necessarily the video games. Video games have been around for a long time, and kids have been doing stupid stuff for a long time. But I think there's been like studies that kind of disprove that it doesn't really have much to do with video games as to why kids do stupid stuff. I think that kids, again, much like we were talking about, they look up to who's around them. You know, they look up to who the kids at school are looking up to, which a lot of the times nowadays are less than desirable figures. A lot of them tend to be, you know, music artists or people who aren't really, you know, people who benefit off of being kind of, I guess you could say, out there or I guess in hip hops, I guess that I can speak to that. We look up to the people who are like in the streets. We look up to the people who are doing some of the crimes. We look up to the people who are, you know, talking about some of this stuff that's affecting our communities negatively. And if that's what the kids are looking up to, they're going to perpetuate that same behavior that's being disseminated in the music. Let me see. Torres says, I believe most good adults go through trauma as a kid. Hate to say it, but I do believe there should be some trauma involved raising kids. LOL. Maybe I'm scarred, but I believe that. That's a hot take right there. That's a hot take. You said, I do believe there should be some trauma involved raising kids. Huh. To an extent, I see what you're saying. And again, it kind of piggybacks off of my whole point of, you know, you can learn from good or bad examples in life. I definitely believe that. Do I think that any child deserves trauma? No. Do I think that life naturally comes with traumatic experiences? Even if they're not like, you know, something that you go through every single day, which some people do have that sort of life. But life will just kind of naturally throw traumatic experiences at you, whether it be on the scale of, you know, maybe just getting bullied in school, you know, a couple times, or all the way up to the scale of, you know, as much as I hate to say it, getting abused at home, which a lot of people go through, and my heart goes out to them. Like, but you will experience some sort of trauma, you know, on that scale, somewhere in between, somewhere on either extreme as a kid. And I do think, again, it's necessary to build resilience. It's necessary to build, you know, your worldview, so you can kind of have a realistic worldview. Because you think about it, like people who grow up spoon fed, People who grow up with no worries in the world, a lot of them tend to have this skewed worldview that like that is just the default in life. And as a result of that, they treat people as if they're all afforded the same, you know what I mean, like lifestyle and opportunities. Like, so again, it's important to have a mixture of both. It's important to have a mixture of both. Let me see. Being a parent is traumatizing. Our job is to make sure we don't transfer that insolvency into our children's account. Which is true. Which is true. But I think with the cycle of life, again, it's hard to, I don't want to say not pass any of that down, because you don't have to pass it down. Again, life will do it regardless, like I said. So I agree with you, world class here. I mean, like, I think your job is to kind of protect your child from that. But even in doing that, life will get to them eventually anyway. There comes a point in everybody's life where something happens and where a kind of like a switch flips in your head, and you go from just being this carefree, ignorant kid to being like to kind of realizing and waking up to what the world really is. And again, it doesn't have to come from your parent traumatizing you. It can come from everyday life experiences as you get older. It can come from things that are actually happening around the world. And seeing that like life isn't all Christmas and rainbows. Speaking of Christmas, though. Speaking of Christmas. Chris says, I miss being ignorant sometimes. Take me back. You guys ever miss the magic of Christmas anymore? You guys ever feel like the magic of Christmas is just like gone? Like, I know most of us watching this are ages, I would say what, like 25 to 45-ish, somewhere maybe in that area. Maybe a little bit older, maybe a little bit younger. But basically, we're all adults here. And sometimes I think, and I don't have kids yet, so like I'm kind of like in this weird like purgatorial state of like enjoying Christmas, where it's like I'm no longer a kid, haven't been a kid for a long time. And so like that kid kind of magic of Christmas is gone, but I don't have kids for my own to kind of supply that magic to and live vicariously through their excitement. Has anybody else ever experienced that? Or is anybody else experiencing that? Because I am right now. Like, I want to be super excited for Christmas, which I mean, I am. This is my second Christmas in Texas. And, me and my little family that I got going on here, we're going to have us a great time. But I'd be lying if I said something wasn't missing. It's just the reality of things, getting older. But that's how it is. That's how it is, man. Let me see. Chris says you still get to experience it through the kids. I love it. My favorite holiday. I know. I really wish. I had some kids, my own kids, or just kids around, because I don't have that either. So where I could like, be there, Christmas all about family. Tori says, been gone from me, Sutton. LO, I remember the smell of Christmas trees. Now it's just weed, smoke, and struggle. Oh my gosh. I mean, yeah, it's just like, you remember when you were a kid, you used to wait all year long for Christmas. Christmas was just the climax of the year. And I mean, and it still is, right? It still is, but you used to look forward to that every single year, to the point of, I remember when I was a kid, my parents used to hide gifts. I used to go find them when they weren't home. I used to like guess all the places in the house that they could have hid gifts. And I just used to go find them and just see what I was getting for Christmas. Now, I was only ever successful in doing that maybe like once or twice growing up because my parents were actually pretty good at hiding the gifts. I think they were hiding it uh, somewhere off site. But I could never imagine doing that today. I could never imagine, an adult doing that because that's the little bit of magic that you have left for Christmas. Like as an adult, right? You get a present that's gift wrapped. You don't know what's in it, and you get to unwrap. You get to tear off the wrapping paper and see what you got for Christmas. That brings you back for just like a split second, right? For just like a split second on Christmas. That magic that you get. As a kid, it's like you're gonna get so many gifts anyway. It's like let me just go see what I got here, But it's just I don't know. It's different. It's different. JD says, Are you and Alex going live tonight, tomorrow, or Friday? We're gonna be live. Not exactly sure if we want to do an earlier morning. Wait, guys, is there football on Friday? Is there any NFL football? I don't think so. I think there's just the 3 games tomorrow, and then the rest of them are on Saturday and Sunday. But yeah, we'll be live on Friday to preview the Ravens versus Packers game, where we do not know whether or not Lamar Jackson's going to play. We don't know if Jordan Love is going to play. We don't know what to expect, honestly. I think that the whole season could unfold on that day. We get blown out the water. Then it's really fire everybody. I can see it. Let me see. Ashley says, Christmas isn't the same for me anymore. I spend it with my brother and his family, which is always nice, but the holidays are definitely difficult for me. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry to hear that, Ashley. And thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that. But the one thing I'll say is that, since you are spending it with family, like you said, that's always nice. Just try to be present. That's what I felt like I've had to do as well. Again, me and my girl, we moved to Texas last year, and we don't really have anybody out here except our dog. And we chose not to go back home this year for Christmas to be with all of our families and stuff like that. But just kind of having to remind myself to be present and be thankful for what I do have. Be thankful for what I do have in front of me, which is still love. But appreciate you opening up about that, Ashley. Stop trick-or-treating at 11 years old. That's a good time to stop trick-or-treating. I feel like it gets lame when you get to be a teenager, right? Kids start to clown you. I don't remember how that went. Man had to have the Christmas list ready. So when it comes to Christmas gifts, what is the best gift that you guys have ever received as a kid, though? I know we're all adults. Again, what's the best gift that you can look back on from your childhood and say, that was the best Christmas I ever had because I got that? I feel like everybody should remember at least one good gift that they got. For me, and again, you guys know I'm relatively young. So I think my favorite Christmas was probably Christmas of, 2007. Yeah, Christmas of 2007. And the reason why is because that was the Christmas that I got a PlayStation 3. And of course, I grew up playing PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, but it was really only time I ever played those was when I went over to my cousin's house or my friend's house and things like that. I had an Xbox the whole time. Well, my parents got me a PlayStation 3, and then I got Guitar Hero to go with it, and Call of Duty, World at War. Yeah, I was set. And WWE SmackDown versus Raw. Yeah, that was the best Christmas. I was locked in for weeks. The PS3 was a goated system. I mean, people don't really talk about it that much, because the PS4 was so iconic, the PS2 iconic, and the PS3 is just kind of sandwiched in between the two. But the PS3 was the perfect blend between the 2 and the 4, the perfect blend. The 5 to me is like, hopefully the 6 is better. But the PS3 is such an underrated console. And that was my favorite Christmas gift that I got. Maybe that seems a little materialistic. Torres says when he got his Nintendo 64, Bears. I got my 64. I don't think I got mine for Christmas though. Did I get mine for Christmas? I might have got mine for either for Christmas or my birthday. You guys know my birthday just passed. So my birthday, it's always been a thing for me. My family got me presents on my birthday and then got me presents on Christmas. I'm sure that was tough on them, but they made it happen. So shout out to them. But yeah, I think I got a Nintendo 64 on like my maybe 5th birthday or something like that. Can't quite remember. It was a long time ago. Chris M says best gift as a kid was a Ravens starter jacket. I know that's right. You still have it? Did you keep it as like a souvenir? Did you give it away or did you pass it down to somebody? Because I'm sure that was a dope jacket. I think I had a couple starter jackets in my time too, and I was just trying to think like which ones did I have. But I think I had a Redskins one. And I also had a Panthers one as well. Yeah, I had a Redskins one and a Panthers one. I remember. Ashley says, you're right, Sutton. Being in the present moment is always important. Time goes by so quickly. You can't miss out on those moments of love and gratitude. Absolutely right. JD13 says, in 2012, he got a Beyblade stadium. Hey, man, the Beyblades used to go crazy. Letting it rip. That was such a fun game because it was just so simple, right? It wasn't like a board game where you had to like sit down for hours at a time or whatever, and it just got boring after a while, after like 20 minutes. Beyblade was like one of those things where like, I would assume like people who really were into Beyblades when they were younger are probably really into cars now in their adulthood. Because when you think about it, like Beyblades were just like it was a toy, but you could like construct it and put different pieces on it to really make it like your own thing. And like, if you wanted it to perform a certain way, you could put it together a certain way and it would perform that way. So you'd literally meet up with your friends with like maybe 1 to 2 or 3 different Beyblades that you own that all can do different things based off of how you built them, and it was just cool. So I totally get that, JD. I totally get that. I did get a Beyblade when I was younger as well. Ashley says she remembers she got Ravens tickets. It was New Year's Eve, and she thinks it was Ravens versus Browns. She cried. It was so happy. That's adorable. I love that. I absolutely love that. It wasn't New Year's Eve. It was in December, but yes, the little things. Brandon Tillman says the Game Boy. There we go. That's what I'm talking about, Brandon. The Game Boy, goated. I mean, we talk about like probably top 3 gaming systems all time. The Nintendo Game Boy. I mean, when we talk about top 5 game systems all time, I think Game Boy has to be in there just because of how revolutionary it was just for mobile gaming. I mean, it didn't have, of course, the best graphics or, the most extensive catalog, even though there was a lot of good games for it. But it was just revolutionary for especially for backlit mobile gaming. Because you guys remember the original Game Boys did not have a backlight on them, and you had to buy this little attachment light to plug into it so it could illuminate the screen. And I remember when we used to go on like road trips when I was a little boy, had my Game Boy with me, and it would be dark outside, and I had to have that light attached to it. But then they added the backlight to it. Again, just a revolutionary console there. So Game Boy would definitely be in my top 5. Again, Nintendo, they did their big one with the Nintendo Wii. I know you guys remember that years ago, back in 2007 or whenever that came out. Revolutionary motion video games. Nobody was doing that. That's got to be in the top 5, right? Also in the top 5 for me, I'm going to have to go PlayStation 2. That's in there. And I guess this is in no particular order. I'll put the PlayStation 2. I'll also put the Xbox 360 in there as well. Even though I never owned that console for myself, I do recognize and respect what it did for the culture at the time. And then last one for me, I'll probably have to throw in that PS3. Probably got to throw in that PS3, man. That's going to be my top 5. Which Game Boy, the Color or the Advance? Yeah, I had both. I had the Game Boy Color. I had the stuffed animal on my pillow every morning for Christmas as a child. That's dope. That's dope. I got a PSP. Ooh, I forgot about the PSP. Because that was revolutionary too, but it did feel like it was biting off the Game Boy. The success of the Game Boy and then the Nintendo DS. Nintendo was really doing it big with the mobile gaming, and PlayStation said, "Oh, hold on now, we gotta get in on this market. I was surprised that Microsoft and Xbox never really got to that. I don't think Microsoft ever had a handheld gaming console. But no, the PSP was lit. The PSP was lit. And because it kind of introduced, well, it didn't really introduce, but it doubled as a media player. It doubled as a web browser. On top of being able to play games, man, it did all these other things that other mobile gaming consoles weren't really doing at the time. So, yeah, shout out to the PSP. Shout out to the PSP. They even had movies that were released exclusively on like PSP discs. It was dope. It was dope. So, but yeah, guys, just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about, Christmas, what you got for Christmas. Again, I want you to throw down below in the comment section what your favorite Christmas Eve tradition is. Is it watching a movie? Is it making hot chocolate? Is it opening one Christmas present before Christmas Day? Let me know down below in the comments, guys. And World Class says Steam Deck is basically a handheld Microsoft handheld. Wait, is that developed? It's not developed by Microsoft though. I didn't think Steam Deck. I thought it was just developed by Steam. No, I could be wrong. Microsoft could own that whole thing, and it wouldn't surprise me. But for the most part, Microsoft never really had their own, dedicated mobile gaming platform, which in hindsight, maybe they should have. Maybe they should have. It seems like Xbox hasn't really innovated in the last, 10 years anyway. So, yeah. But, okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go here. I want you guys to, listen, enjoy your Christmas Eve. Enjoy your Christmas. Like we said, be present with your family, your friends, whoever you've got around. Hold them tight. Put on a smile. Just have fun. Just have fun and enjoy it, because life passes by very quickly. So you don't want to take any of these moments for granted. Again, my name is Sutton Def. You are listening to Sutton Reactions. Again, we will be live on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel on Friday. So we're going to let everybody, enjoy their Christmas. Won't be going live tomorrow. Of course, there will be a little Instagram post or whatever. So if you don't follow us on Instagram, make sure you follow us at the Purple Rain Podcast. Tori says, W stream, Sutton. Appreciate that. Didn't really know what to talk about on this one. I kind of pulled some things together last minute, but every time I do that, we end up having a great discussion, and we had a really good discussion today. So I appreciate you guys. Again, if you want to send me some topics, you can send them to @SuttonDef on Twitter or Instagram. My DMs are open on both. And of course, I will react to those topics, whatever you send me. So again, Merry Christmas. I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel before you get out of here, and I'll catch you guys after the holiday. Peace.